The moment Clare Dawson ordered me to dismantle my entire team, I knew she had made a serious mistake because she was judging people by their salaries. While I knew exactly what they had actually done for the company, she had been brought in as a ruthless efficiency director at Westbridge Systems, and within her very first week she decided that my 7-person crisis team was an unnecessary expense that needed to disappear before the next board meeting. My name is Ethan Cole, and for 3 years I had quietly led the people that executives barely noticed but constantly relied on. There was Maya, a brilliant cybersecurity expert. There was Lucas, a gifted engineer who could fix almost anything. There was Sophia, a sharp client negotiator who kept our biggest accounts from walking away. And there were 4 other specialists, each one an expert in solving problems long before they ever became disasters. When I reminded Claire that our work had saved the company millions of dollars and protected several major contracts, she simply looked at me and said, "I don't measure invisible work." Then she handed me a deadline, one that left everyone around me expecting the absolute worst. But instead of fighting her, I did something different. I quietly reached out to the company chairman, and I told my team to cooperate fully with Claire's plan. So over the following days, they cleared out their desks, transferred their documents, and walked out of the building as if they had simply accepted defeat. Claire watched it all happen with quiet satisfaction. To her it looked like total surrender. She had no idea that the chairman had already placed our entire team under a protected strategic program, and that our apparent termination was only the first step of a much bigger plan already in motion. For those few days my team went quiet. No calls, no check-ins. Nothing that might tip Claire off that something else was unfolding behind the scenes. At Monday's board meeting, Claire stood up and proudly presented our removal as her greatest achievement so far. She told the board she had eliminated unnecessary spending and made the company leaner and more efficient than ever. But halfway through her presentation, the doors opened, and the chairman walked in with my entire team standing behind him. Claire's confidence disappeared instantly. The chairman looked at her and asked, calmly but firmly, "If these people were so unnecessary, why did 4 of our most critical systems suddenly become dependent on their work the moment you removed them?" The board then saw everything Claire had never bothered to examine. They saw the security reports. They saw the contracts that had been rescued at the last possible moment. They saw the engineering solutions that had quietly prevented major failures. They saw the emergency operations that had depended on my team, sometimes without anyone even realizing it, for years. Claire tried to defend herself, insisting that she had simply followed the numbers in front of her, that any responsible director would have made the exact same call given the same spreadsheet. But the chairman replied without raising his voice, "Numbers only tell you what something costs. They don't always tell you what happens the moment you take it away." Still, Claire refused to back down. Within just a few days, she secretly altered part of the company's biggest upcoming product launch, hoping that its failure would prove my team had been overrated all along, giving her one more reason to eliminate us for good. But Maya noticed the changes almost immediately. She quietly preserved the evidence, carefully restored the system, and let Claire believe her plan had actually worked. She let that belief stand right up until the next board meeting, when the complete security report appeared on the screen for everyone to see. Claire left the company that same evening, carrying the very same cardboard box she had once expected my team to carry out in defeat. Meanwhile, the people she had once considered expendable walked back into their offices, finally knowing that their value had been recognized by the people who mattered most. That day, I learned something I don't think I'll ever forget. The most dangerous mistake any leader can make is measuring people only by what shows up on a spreadsheet, because sometimes the people you barely notice, the ones working quietly in the background, are the very ones keeping everything from falling apart. If you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing this video with a friend who might need to hear it. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from today. A few smaller touches worth considering. If you want the story to feel even more grounded when it's read aloud, you could open with a short flash-forward line before diving into the main story. Something like, "By the end of that week, the woman who fired my team would be the one carrying a box out the door." to hook viewers in the first 5 seconds, which tends to help retention on video platforms. You could also add one brief moment of doubt for Ethan partway through, right after his team walks out, where he privately wonders whether the chairman's plan will actually work in time. A small beat of uncertainty like that can make the eventual payoff feel more earned, since right now the story moves fairly smoothly from setback to triumph. Finally, giving Claire one small human moment. Even a flicker of embarrassment or a quiet exhale as she picks up that box can make her feel less like a pure antagonist and more like a fully realized character, which often makes these workplace justice stories resonate more strongly with viewers.